Yee-fucking-haw. So, Helluvaboss had a new episode lately. Did you see it? Of course you did, because my Twitter timeline is filled with simps apparently. As always, there's good stuff and bad stuff. Let's get the bad stuff out of the way first before I start gushing about this one. Skip to this timestamp if you don't like nitpicky stuff, and go to watch the episode if you don't want spoilers. Link will be in description. So, does the animation look a little odd to some of you guys? Like, the frame rate in some of the early scenes is noticeably low. Did they just want to save all the really good animation for that sexy new villain? And apparently the villain is voiced by a guy named Norman Reedus, who everyone seems to know except me. Is he a big guy or something? I don't really care enough to look it up. My second nitpick is that I think the very first scene between Stolas and Blitz was done better in the animatic. For some reason, Stolas sounds like he's talking to an audience of small children like he's on Dora the Explorer.
The harvest moon is a very special occasion. It's been my annual duty to showcase it in the Ring of Wrath.
Also, the phrase time and a half does not sound right in Blitz's voice. I'm sorry. I really wish they'd kept the original dialogue and the way Bryce and Brandon had said their lines. It just seems to flow more natural and better in my opinion. And then we get to the main issue with this episode. The in-laws don't like their daughter's husband because he's not a manly man. Now, I already have my own personal gripes with this storyline for obvious reasons, but I think this storyline you just didn't need to tell with these characters. It's so cliched and overused. Has there ever been an animated couple that didn't have to deal with this plot? No, I'm asking because I'm trying and I can't think of one. Aside from Chaggy, but that's because we don't know Vaggy's relationship with Lucifer or Lilith. Do we need to go through this kind of plot every time with a married couple on TV? It's old. Why can't Joe be like a warm father figure to Moxie? Or just be happy that Millie married someone who clearly loves her with all his heart? You can make Stryker and Blitz give all the jabs you want, but there was no need to rope Millie's parents into it. And if you want the familial conflict, just have Millie's handful of siblings be the bullies. Heck, they already were! Also, take a shot every time they say man in this episode. I would expect the brain versus brawn plot to be used in a normal children's show like Steven Universe or Gravity Falls, where the intended audience is children who have probably been in one or two situations where they were called a wuss for not participating in some traditionally masculine activity, or not being strong enough. I did not expect it from such a unique and subversive show like Helluvaboss that came from the same mind as Has Been Hotel, intended for older teens and adults who arguably don't need to be taught this lesson. At least I hope they don't. Listen, Viv, when you have characters like Stolas, Angel Dust, and Alistair walking around, I don't think you need this kind of storyline. Alright, that's everything I didn't care for in this episode, so let's get to the good stuff. I know I talked shit about the animation earlier, but those last 8 minutes? Hot damn! This is where the quality of basically everything goes from pretty good to great! Especially this last shot. Like, who sold their soul to Alistair in order to craft this beautiful last 5 seconds? The fighting scenes got me so pumped. The compositing of these shots rivals the forest scene in Stolas' bathroom in the first episode, and the stakes skyrocket. Seriously, the moment we hit timestamp 1040, things pick up. From Moxie finding the angelic weapon, to his fight with Stryker, to Millie and Moxie's little talk, and the final showdown between Stolas and Stryker. Oh, and this reveal that actually had my jaw on the floor. The last 8 minutes is fun. I'm enjoying it. I just wish more of the episode was as fun as this. Okay, that's not true. The games was pretty fun, and the shark gag was genuinely hilarious. Motherfucker! And it's truly amazing. With each new episode, the fandom is given a new hot villain to simp for. Except episode 4, that just had cute cherubs and a bitchy deer. I personally prefer Verosica over Stryker, but pretty much only because I like her song and overall aesthetic better. Stryker is still a great new villain with a brilliant design and an interesting motive I really want to see more from this series. Now we reach the part of a video where I analyze the moment a fandom seems to be split on. Is Stella a bad person for wanting her cheating husband dead? Yes, this is a legit question that popped up and it kinda shocked me that people need to think about this. Okay, so I don't know who needs to hear this, but neither Stolas nor Stella are in the right here. The only innocent is Octavia, and she's actually the one I'm most worried about should something big go down. Should Stolas have cheated on Stella, even if they are in a completely loveless marriage? No! Should Stella be plotting to kill her cheating husband, possibly shattering Octavia's world since we know she still cares about him? Also no. No choice is better or worse than the other, but they come from a place that we as an audience can understand, and that's where I think the arguing is coming from. Stolas is clearly unhappy and doesn't feel loved by his wife or special anymore. He's seeking a thrill in a midlife crisis kind of situation. He could be truly infatuated with Blitz and want more than a transactional fucking. We don't know. Does it give him the right to ruin his household? No, of course not. But we can see where it's coming from because of what he says in Lululand. We don't know much about Stella since we have such little time with her, but so far all we know is that she's mad that Stolas cheated on her with an imp and is now plotting his death for said actions. We're not entirely sure about her motivation or how she feels about their marriage. We don't know if she never actually loved Stolas and the marriage was just put on them or just fell apart over time. I mean, we can put small things together through context clues, like the first time we see Stella and she's yelling at Stolas for cheating. She doesn't use the kind of words we would expect from a wife that's been cheated on. She doesn't say, "I thought you loved me," or "How could you do this?" She says, "You are a goddamn embarrassment," implying that the only thing she cares about is the reputation of the household. She doesn't seem to care about Stolas or Octavia if her father, that she loves very much, were to pass away. All she seems to care about is the hierarchy and natural order of things. Of course, we think Stolas is the victim in this because we know Stolas. We've spent time with him, so he must be the better person, right? Just put a pin in that for now. We haven't spent any time with Stella, so we don't know what her stance is. All we know is speculation. And guess what? That's not enough to make a judgment. They subverted our expectations with Stolas, going from a side character whose personality was horny to a precious bird dad. Maybe they're planning the same with Stella. I don't know. You don't know. No one but Viv and her team knows. So let's just enjoy the ride, why don't we? As far as ranking goes, this episode sits at a number 3 for me, right under Lululand and Spring Broken. Just because Spring Broken was just more fun throughout for me, with just that one scene being my only problem. And with that, there really isn't much I can say. So thank you everyone so much for watching all the way through. Feel free to like and subscribe if you like what you see, and ring the bell if you want to know when I upload. I'll see you in the next one.